Kahala Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakakadash. That's all praises to Yahweh, who the word ignorantly calls God. Bahashem in the name of Yahweh Shah, who the word ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Double honors to the elders and the apostles, a great millstone. Peace and blessings be to all the Akim that pushing this word in truth and sincerity, man. Shalom. Alright, this is gonna be another quick lesson, and Lord, when you're edified. So what I'm gonna touch on today is basically this video that I came across about 2 to 3 days ago on this Edomite KKK clan member. Alright. It's basically talking about, your average Joe Edomite bullshit, how they feel about the things that's going on in America, so on and so forth. And he also mentioned, right, we had a nerve to say that they're the chosen people of the Lord, right? And in this day and age, we all know that shit is a fairy tale, right? Everybody knows now that the real Hebrew Israelites are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man, right? We are the lost tribes of the house of Israel, all right? But here it is, you still got these puffed up ass Edomites claiming that they're the real people of the Lord, man, right? When they're not. All right, they are from the house of Esau, right? That is their forefather. That's where they descend from. All right, but I'm gonna go ahead and play this video so y'all can see, what I'm gonna get into. All right.
We should use that $38 billion could help the veterans, could help homeless. I mean, right now our economy is in a lot of trouble. We could use that $38 billion. I think we should cut all foreign aid to Israel, or Israel, as a lot of people like to call it around here, because that's all it is. It's a nation that was stolen from the Palestinian people, and they have no birth.
And see, here it is. Esau. Of course, they're gonna beat around the bush. They're not gonna actually mention whose land that originally was, man. Right? That was a black Hispanic Native Americans land, right? The children of Israel. But here it is. He had the nerve to say that's the Palestinians people land, right? When that's the chosen people, right? The children of Israel's land, man, right? And it wasn't stolen from them. It was stolen from the children of Israel, right? Like I said, man, right? Because when they go back to 70 A.D., then the siege of Jerusalem, the Romans took over that land whenever the southern kingdom was there, man. All right, so that's who they stole it from, right? The black Hispanic Native Americans. All right, wasn't no damn Palestinians. All right, of course Esau, being a damn devil, he's not gonna mention, or really tell the truth on whose land it actually is, man. All right.
Right to it, foreign aid to Israel.
Listen to shit he says after this.
Like to call it around here, because that's all it is. It's a nation that was stolen from the Palestinian people, and they have no birthright to it. If anybody has a birthright to Israel, it'd be the chosen people, the white race. Just as.
And see, and that's where he went off at, right? This motherfucker literally had a nerve to say they're the chosen people, right? The so-called white race, right? When we all know that shit is a lie. That shit's a fairy tale, all right? So what I'm gonna touch on, right? We're gonna go back to, back to the basics, man. Genesis, the 25th chapter, get into Jacob and Esau, right? Identify who Esau is, right? And let's get into the birthright as well, right? Because he had a nerve to say that the birthright was given to them, right? And he's probably one of the type of motherfuckers that think that he's Jacob, right? He descends from the Jacob when he really doesn't, all right? But let's go to Genesis 25 real quick. Genesis 25, I'm going to start at 24. All right, identify who Esau is. All right, Genesis 25 and 24 says, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came, I read all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau, right? So the reason they described Esau's skin color was because he was different from everybody else back then during the ancient world, man. Because back then, everybody had melanin in their skin. So when Esau came out, he was different from everybody because he was red, man. Right? And you can see that today. Who matches that description of Esau? That so-called white race, man. Right? They're the only ones that are red. You smack them up, what color are they going to turn red? They get mad, they get cold, what color they turn red? Right? They get out in the sun too long, what color they going to turn red? Right? That's who Esau is. It says, and after that came out his brother, and his name, it's like in his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob, and Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them, right? And that was symbolic for us taking Esau out of power, because when you go to 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, and the 7th verse on down to the 9th, it mentions us taking Esau out of power, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, man. All right? Verse 27, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, right? Who's a cunning hunter this day, man? Right? Who's the one that's always out there hunting? Who's the best at big game hunting and shit like that? Right? The so-called white race. That's why they're out there, always out there doing it. Right? I've seen many videos of white people talking about how they're addicted to hunting and shit like that. They can't stop thinking about it. It says a man of the field. That's why they're always out in the forest, right? Climbing mountains and shit like that, because they're men of the field. And Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents, right? In other words, Jacob, you can see it today in us, man. Right, we're just laid back people. I like to chill, eat, play 2K and shit, just kick back, man. Right, that's who Jacob is, the blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. All right. So now let's go to Genesis, the 27th chapter. Right, and now come back to Genesis 25th chapter here shortly, to get into the birthright. Right, but right now we identifying who Esau is. Genesis 27:39, it says, And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above, right? And that's why they're in rulership, man. Right? That's why they have all the riches of the earth, man, because that was their blessing, right, in the end times, that they were going to have the fatness of the earth. Verse 40, And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke off from thy neck, right? And the point I wanted to get was that Esau's blessing was going to be the sword. That's why they so in love with guns and shit like that. That's why they're the ones that are creating these big ass laser weapons, these 50 cal bullets, and all types of stuff like that, because their blessing is a sword, man. Right? That's why they have guns. They have hella guns, man. Right? Who do you see working at a gun store? Esau, the so-called white man. Right? Who do you see? You know what I'm saying? That's fascinated with the guns, man. Esau, the so-called white man. Why? Because that's their blessing. Right? You put an Edomite in front of a target, he'll knock that bitch down from 2,000 miles away, man. Right? Why? Because that's their blessing, man. All right. So now to go to Job 9:24, because it mentioned that they were getting given the fatness of the earth. All right. This is Job 9:24. It says, The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Right. And who's it says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So who do you see right now is in power, man? Right? Who's running all the banks, so on and so forth, right? The so-called white race, man. Right? And it said that they are the wicked. That's when you go to the book of Malachi, the first chapter, which I'm gonna get to shortly. It says they are the border of wickedness, right? And it says he covered the faces of the judges thereof. Right? Who did that? Who covered the faces of the Lord? Who covered the faces of all the, you know what I'm saying, the children of Israel, right? Moses, right? King David, King Solomon, so on and so forth. The white race, man. That's why they turned them. They painted all the images of their likeness, man. All right. Now they're going to Malachi 1:4 to prove that they are the wicked. Malachi 1:4 says, Whereas Edom saith, right? Edom is a so-called white race, right? We are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, They shall build, but I will throw down. And that's gonna take place very soon whenever Yahushua returns back to the planet Earth, man. Right? And they shall call them the border of wickedness and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever, man. All right. So they are the border of wickedness. They are the wicked that are empowered, man. Right. And the Lord said against whom the Lord had indignation for forever, man. Right. And if I'm not mistaken, that's righteous hatred, man. That's why when you go to the book of Romans, the 9th chapter, the Lord said, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Right. And you read, you know what I'm saying, the previous verses on down, the Lord set it all up through the Spirit, right? So I'm not getting to that shortly as well. All right. Go back to Genesis, the 25th chapter, man. Genesis 25, and I'm going to start at 29. It says, And Jacob saw the pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. All right. In other words, he was tired. All right. And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint thereof. Slaki, therefore was his name called Edom. Right. And his name, Slaki, and Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright. Right. So Jacob, in other words, said, Sell me your birthright, and I'll give you, you know what I'm saying, this meat. And it says, and Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? Right. And Esau, he wasn't literally about to die, man. Right. His ass was just being impatient. Right. He didn't want to do a little quick, little fast way, just to wait until that, that food was done. Right. He said, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? In other words, he's saying that birthright, this shit, this blessing ain't gonna come around to another, couple thousand years. So I mean, what is it gonna profit me? And it says, and Jacob said, Swear to me this day, and he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Right? So Esau despised his birthright by selling it for an uncooked piece of meat, man. Right? Because his ass was being impatient. Right? So that's who the birthright was given into. Right? It was given unto Jacob. Right? Because Esau sold his birthright to Jacob. Right? And that was all set up through the Spirit. All right? We were going to be the chosen people, whether y'all believe it or not. All right? So now let's go to Hebrews 12 and 16. Get a couple more scriptures on this. Right there. Hebrews 12 and 16, it says, Lest there be any fornicator or profane person in Esau, right? And that's why, they have sex with animals and all types of, wicked shit like that, man, right? Because they're profane fornicators, man. who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright, right? So Esau, you sold your birthright, man. Y'all don't got that birthright anymore, man, right? The birthright is in the possession of Jacob, right? So now let's go to Second Ezra. Second Ezra 3, I think it's 13. Second Ezra 3 and 13, it says, now when they lived so wickedly before thee, thou didst choose thee a man from among them whose name was Abraham, right? And you got a lot of people like to say, well, we descend from Abraham, so we're the chosen people as well, right? So we're going to see who the blessing was given to, right? Him thou lovest, and unto him only thou showest thy will, and madest an everlasting covenant with him, promising him that thou wouldest never forsake his seed, right? So we're going to see who their everlasting covenant was given unto, right? Verse 16, it says, and unto him thou givest Isaac, all right? And unto Isaac also thou gavest Jacob and Esau, right? So we're going to see who received that blessing out of Jacob and Esau. It says, as for Jacob, thou didst choose him to thee, all right? So Jacob was chosen to receive that blessing and put by Esau, and so Jacob became a great multitude. All right, so there you go. All right, I'm going to get one more scripture. Let's go to Romans 9th chapter. Romans 9, and I'm going to start at 9. It says, for this is the word of promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac. For the children being not yet born, right, talking about Jacob and Esau, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of Yahweh according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth, right? So this was all going to be set up through the Spirit before them children are even born, man, before Jacob and Esau were born, right? It was going to be set up that Jacob was going to, take the blessing from Esau, right? Verse 12, it says, it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger, right? And who's the elder? Right? Esau. Who's the younger? Jacob. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated, man. Right? Jacob, are you blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, man? Right? The Most High said that he loves us, right? And he hates Esau, the so-called white race, man. All set up through the Spirit. All right, so Lord, when y'all was edified, before I close out, I'm going to say, call Allah Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Rakakadash. That's all praises to Yahweh, who the word ignorantly calls God, by Hashem in the name of Yahweh Shah, who the word ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Double understand elders and the apostles of great millstone. Peace and blessings be to all the Akim that pushing this word and truth as a city, man. Shalom and Abba.